So sorry guys, I don't have my 2 camera thing set up yet because still like trying to unpack stuff and figure the logistics out. So you saw me for 2 seconds. But hi guys, I'm Monique. I am the other host of this retreat, and we're basically gonna give you 2 different projects to do today. I was just grabbing some of my supplies. For mine though, if you didn't see my post in Facebook, um, you can actually go directly to my website. Hold on, it's asking me if I'm speaking Dutch. Okay, I never saw that before. Sorry, got distracted there. But if you want to grab these library cards, because we're going to make a library pocket, and I'll show you how to put that together really simply during our lunch and learn. You can grab these library cards off of my website, mysterycrafterstudio.com. But there is a link in the Facebook group if you want to grab these and print these out. You don't need them right away. This is just so that you can stuff everything in your library cards pockets if you want to. But I'm going to show you how to make the pockets and put them in your junk journal. Now, if you joined us before, when we had kicked off the whole event before or announced the event, you may have made a junk journal with us, just the basics. I went crazy and decorated already, but you may have your basic junk journal. So that's all you're going to need every time you come to the lunch and learn is just your basic junk journal that you may want to work through the entire retreat. If you have like just one, good junk journal to play in the whole retreat, it's really fun. You are, of course, there's some courses that will have you making junk journals and things like that. But it's good just to have one for the retreat to play in and to do different things in. So this is the one that I created during our live, and then I ended up decorating it after. I kind of had some of these pre-done because some of this that you're seeing are some of the actual workshops that are in the retreat itself. So you'll eventually get all these parts as well. But what I want to show you is one of the favorite things that I like to do a lot is save the front cover for either a book plate or a pocket. I always like to put some little special feature on the front a lot. So for this, all you're going to need is just like some cardstock, even just like one piece of cardstock or heavier weight paper. If you want, like I said, you can download the library cards off my website, print those out if you like. I just whipped up some designs last night while I was printing some stuff, or my brother was printing a new tool, which I'll show you guys later a preview of because it's all done. But so I was like, oh, some library cards. So I made those, and I also made these just to attach as library book plates. But you can definitely go grab these ones right now. And then you'll just need your paper cutter, some glue or tape, a corner rounder if you want it, and that's pretty much it. It's really simple. It's just, your basic paper and all of that. So all you need to do, let me grab my paper cutter, move this out of the way. My other paper cutter's blade is like so dull from all of the projects that I've made for the retreat that I had to pull out the big guy. So sorry, you're gonna see the big guy today. But it's my favorite paper cutter ever. Which you can tell because I've worn it to death already. I actually, just a little tip, if you have this guy, the original Caterpillar Pro, and yours got worn out like this, just message them. They'll send you the tape like this, so that you can kind of put back your numbers at least, because mine are all worn off already. The new version doesn't do that because they made it different, but I like the old version. And sorry for the printers going off. I went crazy and I didn't realize I printed like 30, I made 30 something different new cards for us to play with. All right, so I have to write down my measurements, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a cute little pocket card like this. And it's a little library pocket card to put on the inside. And you can use any paper that you want. This one happens to be like this really cute gold shimmery paper, but it's a little thicker. But measurement wise, if you want to write down your measurements first, I'll make 2 pockets so that way you can make it along. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut your first piece 8 inches by 4 1/4. So 8 inches by 4 1/4. And that's all you need for your pocket part is an 8-inch by 4 1/4 piece of paper. So if you want to cut a couple of them right now, you can go ahead and do that. I'm going to cut 2 of them. My 8-inch, yeah, 4 1/4. I like making things in batches. So 8-inch by 4 1/4, you just need 1 or as many as you want to cut to make your how many pockets you want to make. I like to make my pockets in big batches, and then that way I always have them for other things. And they're just fun to decorate. Oops, I dropped a card. There we go. All right, and then, oh, and you will need, I think I said, I don't know if I said, but you'll need a scoreboard. Let me grab my good. I am a craft hoarder. I have like many scoreboards, but I know this is the one that we almost all have. So this is the best one. All right. And then all you're going to need to do is score landscape, which is this way. You're going to score at 5 1/4. You just give it a really good press in if you have cardstock. And then you're going to score portrait just this way. And you're going to score at 1/2 inch. And you're going to score at 3 3/4. Basically, you're just scoring both sides at 1/2 inch is what it comes out to be. So again, this way it's 5 1/4 by 1/2 inch and 3 3/4. If you have another one, you can go ahead and do that now. So 5 1/4. And then basically just 1/2 inch on each side. The cool thing about moving is that you find all these tools and supplies that you forget you had, which is awesome. Because I've been finding so many things that I was like, oh, I thought I lost that. The only thing I still can't find are my really good Tim Holtz scissors, which I swear my kids have. And then once you have all that done, I know I just saw my scissors, they're there. You're going to cut off this whole section right here and this whole section right here down to these lines. And it's up to you if you want to use your paper cutter to do it or if you just want to do it with scissors. I have a thing with my eyesight that I don't always like to do it with scissors because I see straight lines wiggly. So sometimes I end up cutting wrong. But the easiest thing that I do is just go ahead and put fold down on my score lines so that I can see my score lines a little bit better when they're faint for me. But you're going to cut all the way down. You're going to cut off entirely that bigger section on the right and the left. Just like that. So you have something that kind of looks like that and your other score lines down here like that. You can already see it's forming a pocket. So all I like to do though is cut just this at a little angle just to let it fold in a little better. And so you don't see it sticking out. And there's no like exact way that you have to do it. It's just a nice finish. So you should end up with a little shape, which is probably hard to see against this thing, but should end up with a shape that looks like that and your score lines down here. And then you just repeat if you have another one. Sorry for the printer being so loud. Like I said, I accidentally designed way too many cards. So I was printing them all. I just didn't realize that apparently I designed like 30 of them. All right. So again, you just cut up to that score line. So we're cutting half by 5 1/4. So half by 5 1/4. Oh, you don't hear it? Okay, good. So you're doing 4 1/4 by 8. So here's the measurements, just so you guys can see them. So you're doing 4 1/4 by 8 for your initial whole piece. You're scoring it landscape this way at 5 1/4. And then you're scoring it this way at 1/2 inch and 3 3/4. Basically 1/2 inch on each side. And then I just like to do, like I said, from the little score line right here, I just like to give a little chop off. Just like that. And then super simple, just fold over, fold in those tabs, and then you just glue the tabs on the side. And then if you want, right here, you can corner around your edges. Let me get this guy out of the way. So it's glue or tape, however you want. Just add glue to the sides. Just be careful, don't add too much because you don't want it to overflow onto the inside because you're going to end up sealing your pocket even more. And then just press down. And you have your first little library pocket. And then just in case you do get some glue that spills out on the inside, just go in there with your bone folder or your finger and just make sure it's clear of any glue on the inside like that so that you have it really cute like that. And then if you have your corner rounder, which I can't find my little ones yet, all I found was my big corner chomper, but you can round your corners just to make it cuter, just like that. They have cute little rounded corners, which is really funny because this is the one thing I have been missing for like months. And then when I moved, I finally found it. Just like that. Pink blue. And then just check the inside again. Also helps just to get all this nice and pressed down. These are really simple, but I like making them all kinds of different ways. It's really cute when you make them with different like pattern papers, things like that, different color papers, and they just look really, really nice and finished when you add them to your book. So the next thing, so it's up to you. You can add them just really simply in there, be all done with your book, and you're all done, or you can do what I do and make it just look a little bit extra fun, because why not? So these are the book. These are made so that you can make a 3 by 5 inch library card. So if you print these out so that they're like full size, they should come out to 3 by 5 and fit perfectly in here and stick up just enough to pop up. So for these little guys, I'm gonna cut them by hand just because my paper cutter is huge right now. It's hard to show the whole thing on camera. I'm gonna cut these. And I'm really on a regular like book or something or a mini album. I don't like to cut things by hand because I like to make sure that everything's all nice and straight. But because this is my junk journal and I like my junk journals to look a little tattered and worn, I don't mind cutting by hand because then I want them to look a little tattered and worn. Now, the only thing is when you print them, it's going to be white on the back. So I ended up printing like extra little graphics so that I can put on the backs. They ended up printing a little bit bigger than I wanted. but that's okay. I'm just putting off my border. But this one I printed on photo paper just to make it look pretty. And I was playing with AI yesterday, and this is what it created for me when I wanted to make some book cards and things like that. So they come out really pretty. If you're part of the Artisan Pass, we're going to have a course on how to create things like this. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue this to the back of this card. So it has the front and back cute. Making my library card. Oh, so now I have like a cuter looking library card this way. That lighting is terrible. Give me 1 second. A little better, slightly better. And then you have like a cute library card. So you can put it in this way or the other way, but it'll fit really cute in your little pockets. You also have like a cute picture then. And you don't have to use it just for library cards. You can use it for all kinds of different things. But then we can also go ahead and decorate that. These were some like little oopsie with my Cricut because my Cricut decided to hate me for a whole day. And it wouldn't cut my images. It kept freezing on me. Luckily, they did an update and it seems to be working better now. But I like to decorate the front of the library pockets really cute. Was anybody able to get the graphics okay off of the website? Fussy cutting is not my favorite thing, so I definitely prefer to do it on the Cricut. So this drives me nuts. Thank you for liking them. It's just fun for me. I love designing like the graphics and things that get to go onto cards. All of these were created. Um, I I know how to draw, sort of, but I haven't done it for so long, so I don't really like to do it anymore. Because I guess you have to like really like doing it all the time. I used to, but I don't as much. So I tend to use AI a lot now that I've kind of like started playing with it to create my graphics that I put in my books. So everything you see so far that I've used, the book, everything are all graphics that I created in AI. So I love these stickers because these all were created that way. And I have a ball making them because I had to kind of learn how to speak AI, I guess, to make sure that it creates the graphics that I want. So I'm gonna cut this one out. I do wish my Cricut had cut all these out for me because fussy cutting, like I said, is not my favorite thing. It's super simple. You just kind of decorate all out your pockets and things like that. This is really good if you just want to sit and kind of do an easy, relaxing type of, project. Believe me, you can still make a giant mess on your desk with it without any issues, because I always do. No, artificial intelligence. I mean artificial intelligence. They're asking if, do I mean Adobe Illustrator, not artificial intelligence? Nope, I mean artificial intelligence. I give it prompts of something I might like, something I want to portray. I should have cut out that white in the middle, but oh well. I like sticking things inside and letting it come out. But no, I mean artificial intelligence. I know, don't let I believe me, sometimes when I do these things, I'm like, ooh, that was a little scary. How did you get that so accurate or whatever? But then there's other times that, it grows like 10 fingers on one hand and stuff like that. It will not, well, at least the reputable AIs. I like using Canva's AI and I like using Midjourney. And those two use sort of a built-in blocker so that they cannot like straight copy something. So those are the two that I use. I said if you have the artisan pass, I'm gonna go over like all of that and how I use it, how to prompt it, and it's constantly changing. So it's always going to be a little different. So just keep that in mind. And different programs behave differently. So I've kind of learned how Canva behaves versus Midjourney, because that can be a difference. So here's a little tip on some things that I like to do when I'm making or using. Yeah, they do have an AI feature. It's not great, but it works. So one thing that I like to do is just pop this up with a little bit more bulk whenever I'm using a sticker, just to create layers. So I'm putting this on a piece of chipboard scrap that I have. And Kristi, are you all set? I'm almost done. Just want to make sure I'm not stepping over.
Yep, I'll be good.
Okay. So yeah, basically I like to layer on my library, like the inside cover. I try to make it so that I have a little bit of space between my front cover and the front page. This one's kind of tight, so I can't really layer too much. But I like to give it just a little bit of dimension, even if I just put it on there twice and cut it again. But for this purposes, I'm just gonna make myself a little sort of pop dot. You can of course use foam dots, but I kind of stopped using them as much because I noticed that, from my hoarding of craft supplies, that when I went back through some of the foam dots that I have, that I've had for like, I don't know, 5 to 6 years or so, their sticky's gone. Which means it's going to do the same thing when you stick it on something. And I tested that theory by looking at some of my old scrapbook pages. And sure enough, a lot of them were starting to just fall off. So I kind of stopped using the foam adhesive. I will still use craft foam, but put my own adhesive on it, so it lasts longer. And there we go. And then you can just attach it to the inside of your book. Super simple. You can make them in tons of them at a time. And it's about a standard size. So like if you want to get, which I was kind of surprised, If you want to get like library cards, the library like checkout cards online, I felt like Amazon had like 600 of them for like $15. I was like amazed. So you can use it for all kinds of projects. And one thing that you can do is you buy the ones that are already printed, put those in your printer and print on top of them. And then you can make all kinds of designs with them. My internet died. Oh. I don't trust pop dots or double-sided tape for that reason. Some of my older work has fallen apart. My double-sided tape works. I've never had a problem with my double-sided tape, but definitely with my pop dots. So if I do use pop dots now, I add extra adhesive to them now. But that's it. Really cute, simple, fun, quick way to add some like little visual interest to the inside of your book. It's also really nice if you're gifting this to somebody, you can write like who you're gifting it to, a little message, things like that. Or it can also be something that gets passed along the family, and each family member that gets that book can write it. You can keep a log of what you were doing, things like that. You can keep adding library cards in here to keep logs of things that you put into your book. Every time that you put something in here, instead of dating it directly, you could add dates every time that you actually came into your journal and things like that. So all kinds of different ways. So I hope you liked it. And then I will pass it over to, I'll tell you in just a sec. I'll pass it over to Kristi. So there was just a quick question. What was the name of the other program? Midjourney. It's called Midjourney. They have a free version and then they have upgraded versions. I do use the upgraded version.
Ready for me?
Ready for you.
All right, great. Okay, sorry about that before, guys. I found out that I just didn't click a button, and that was all. That was the problem. So, thank you, Monique, for that. I did my little pockets. I love pockets. It's like my favorite, one of my favorite things. So this is what I'm going to show you guys how to make. It's super simple. Basically, all it is an accordion. There are actually 3 pockets in here, if only it wants to do something weird. So I'm going to make it, this one's only 3, but I think I'm going to make it with 5 this time. And so basically, I will show you also how to make this kind of closure if you like it. You can use any kind of closure you like. You can make this out of cardstock if you want to. I'm using papers. Today I'll use this paper. I really love this paper. And this, if you have the Artisan Pass, you can get this free. That pack is in there. And so, but first what I need to do is this. I don't want all of these I don't want all the flaps. And I also want it to fit in here. So if I want it to fit in here, it needs to be, I believe it's 8 by 4.5. All right. Where'd my ruler just go? Oh, here it is. Yeah. So if you have this, well, this says 5. So you can do it 8 by 4.5 if you want to. And it'll fit nicely in yours if you did this particular book. If you didn't, you can resize these envelopes the way I am, but to the size that you need. So first, I am going to open all the flaps, and I'm just using some envelopes from our mail. And these envelopes are going to measure smaller than 4, but that's all right. I mean, any size, whatever you like, whatever works. I also have been known to cut down some of those big ones, you know. big envelopes that you get when they're offering you the 10 gajillion credit cards that you don't need or that I don't need. And so I'm using I'm using this ruler that has cork on the back, and I'm using a blade. You can cut this however you want. This is just kind of becoming one of my favorite ways to do this because it's very simple. Uh-oh. Maybe. You want to make sure that your blade is super sharp. So I didn't happen to break this one off. I should have. And then it shouldn't do that. But it's just a little bit here. I'm just going to pull that out, and I'm just not going to stress about it. So actually, I think what I want to do is okay, so what I'm thinking about is that some of these already have, you know, some of these already have, they match these sides right here. They're shorter. I can either cut these, you know, to all be the same size, or I can just put them together to match like that. I don't know if that makes sense, but I will probably make more sense when, as I'm doing this. So, all right, just making sure got everything under control here. So for these, for the other one that I made, I just used a double-sided tape, like similar to what Monique used. And all I do, I guess I'll make it this big size. Actually, maybe I don't want to do that because I think I want this to be 8. Yeah, this is going to be 2. All right. All right, so I'm doing this 8 by 4, but actually 8 is the only measurement that I'm going to need to worry about at this point. Why did that happen? That was an optical illusion, I think. So I like to use envelopes and things like this because most of the work is already done, you know? Like once I cut this, 3 sides are already, or 2 other sides are already finished. It's less work for me and less trash. Not that I'm a big, you know, I guess, I mean, not that I'm a big environmentalist. I don't have anything for or against to say about that, but I mean, I just, for some reason, it just feels so wasteful to throw stuff away. That I can use. My poor husband has to look at all the boxes and things that I keep. But I use this kind of stuff for junk journal covers. I make boxes out of them and cover them with plaster, you know, and make like special boxes and things. I don't know if any of you guys are in, have been to my workshops before, but recently I did one where I made this little, a little octagon, no, hexagon box. And on the top, it had like has a dragon eye. It's really cool. It wasn't my design. Someone else on the internet did it, but I did a workshop on it. And It's just really a cool thing to know how to do. It makes me feel good to use my mail. Yeah. Yes, it was great, right? Yes, I know. My husband is very patient and tolerant, especially with my I don't know if anyone else is like this, but I'm really squirrely. Like I'm inspired by everything. So today I'm going to want to do every single thing. And I don't know if I'll be able to, but I'll want to. And so my craft room is just full of everything. And it can get kind of hard to keep it nice and neat. And then if you couple that with ADHD tendencies, which I have, it makes it a little bit more difficult, but it's worth it. Does anybody else save their envelopes and stuff like this? If you don't, it's not a problem. I will show you how to actually make it. You're a curator of scrapbooking things, not a hoarder. I used to say that I was cheap. And my friend Noe, I don't know if she's here, but my friend Noe told me every single time I said cheap, she would say frugal. And so now that's what I say. So say that to me a bunch more times about the curator of scrapbooking items. Actually, mine would be the curator of junk journal items, I guess. You can use you don't have to use this actually, these envelopes. You know what you can use? Something like if you get any kind of food or drink in pouches. I get my iced tea, my black tea in these cute little pouches, and they are, I don't know if they put food in Mylar, but it looks like something like that. Yeah, I think they probably do. So, all right. So when you put this together, you only want to stick it together. I think I'm only going to take this off part way. You only want to stick it together right underneath the center. So I'm going to tear that off there and call it good. And so the reason for that is because you want it to open like this. You don't have to worry about down here because that'll be taken care of when we wrap it. So let's see. Oh, I know. It's almost impossible for me to throw a lot of things away. My poor children, every single time they wanted to like purge their room, I'm like, no, you can use that. And I would try to talk them into keeping it. And they're like, oh my gosh, Mom, seriously. So I had to let them do their own thing. But I really, for some reason, I don't know if it's anxiety or whatever. It used to be. Yeah, I don't really get anxious now, but yeah, I had a really hard time with that. And the worst part is I didn't know what to do with it then, and now I know what to do with it. So I actually go through a lot of this stock. So I've got 6 envelopes here. I am going to go ahead and do the taping for these. They're a little bit different. Now, if these were all straight on the top here, I would I would use my punch like I did with the other one. But since they already kind of have something like that, I feel like it's not going to be that difficult to thumb through. Right. And you can do this with glue. You know, as far as glue goes, if I was going to use glue, I would use art glitter glue for this. I might, if I only had white glue, I might use a paintbrush, you know, to do that. So here's what we have so far. And you can use this for embellishments, stickers, you know, of all kinds, things that you fussy cut out, anything that you want to, anything flat, I should say. Let me make sure that I've got this right. Thank God for fingernails. And I'm cutting on a glass mat. I guess they call them mats. I had never seen one before, but I got one recently and I love it. So remember I had that little rip there? Let's see. I'm going to actually match it up right here so that you don't really see the rip. So basically, all I'm really going to do is just kind of fold this over like this. And it's just going to become kind of like a clutch, you know. So, but before we do that, I want to attach, because last time when I was doing this, I think I have the wrong screen up. If you guys can still see me big, I'm not sure what's happening, but anyways.
We can see you okay. You're fine.
Huh?
We can still see you. You're good.
Oh, good. Thanks. I used to be so much better at technology, guys. So instead of making the hole through this end envelope and the paper, I'd like to just put it through the paper so that the envelope will cover it. And I haven't figured out what to do here, although, you know, anything really can be done. But I'm going to hide this one. And I'm probably just going to wing this, really. And so for these, I'm just going to use this. Oh, this is quite big. Why do I have this one here? I think I need the smaller one. Yeah, here it is. That would be really annoying to wrap all that string around. Oops. And rather than trying to poke the hole through everything, I'm going to go ahead and just do a little I think I want them sideways. Just some little markings so that it just makes it easier. If I don't do this, it tends to become like crinkled and everything, and I don't love that look. So now that I've got a little line cut into it, it makes it much, much easier to put in. And you can even cover these up if you don't like the way the brads look. Totally fine. This is just kind of the basic idea. Where is it now? There it is. Okay, see how easy that is? All right. So now I think I'm getting old, guys. It takes me a lot longer to do things now. Anyway, so now that I've got this, I can where'd my tape go? Yes, I can start doing this. And Karen's session is coming up, so I got to make this quick. That way you guys can soak up all of Karen's artsy goodness. All right. And if you don't tape the top, you might get lucky and, uh-oh. So they're a little bit crooked. That's okay. All right. You might be able to make a second pocket or another second, 20th. Anyway, you might be able to make another pocket between those two. And this one, I think I'll just glue so I can get done, because I believe I'm probably going to possibly glue this into my book. So now I've got this. You can embellish the outside as much as you like. I'm just going to do the corners. And then for the string, hang on, I got a mess going here. Oh, here it is. For the string, all you're going to do is just tie a couple of knots, you know, and then cut this off. My scissors aren't here, so I'm just going to pretend that doesn't exist. And then to close it up, all you do is just old people things, you guys. Okay, so there we go. So that's pretty much it. And you can keep it, you don't have to have your string this long, but I think I'm going to use this probably for some stickers or something like that. And you could even go as far as to, you know, covering the inside. I didn't do that. I didn't care to, but I might later. So yeah, that's pretty much it.